when I see photos of myself where I've progressed, I get satisfied. And with the competitive nature, you can't be satisfied. And that's something I'm having to grow out of and really go forwards towards just striving to be better and win competitions. It's not all about winning, but wanting to win is definitely an important reason because it keeps you progressing and being a better version. It's really hard because I'm one to try and influence others to be happy within themselves, and yet I'm talking like I can't be happy within myself until the comp's over. That's the harder part about the sport, if you can call it that, of bodybuilding. My method is definitely to keep that overload on so your muscles stay big, their stimulus stays on. But when you start prepping early for a show, it's very easy to burn out. So it's almost a blessing that I've started late, as bad as it is. Like there's always, I tell people, there's no such thing as an unprofitable circumstance. On one hand, if I prepped earlier, I'd get in shape earlier. And on the other hand, I could burn myself out and not lift as heavy leading into a show, therefore have smaller muscle bellies because the stimulus isn't on and they atrophy. Always gotta look at the positive.
Four and a half weeks to go and I'm not close to where I should be. This hasn't been a good prep. It's probably been the prep from hell so far. Little injuries and stuff, and then I got sick straight away. I was on antibiotics and I've just been trying to recover from that. And every time I seem to push myself pretty hard in the gym, I'll get a little bit sick again and it'll just take me back. Got blisters on the bottom of my feet from doing so much cardio. So that's been really frustrating. Yeah, a few other things going on as well. The thing is, if I hadn't been in shape so regularly in the last 12 months, 16 months, like I've been in contest condition multiple times, then I wouldn't be able to get in shape again. But because of the adaptive processes in the body, as soon as you get back into that same structure of lifestyle, cardio twice a day, weight training twice a day, eating regular meals, clean meals, your body is so intelligent. And I hate that when people say you're trying to trick the body. You can't trick the body. Like, the body is extremely intelligent, and what will happen is your body will just start to adapt to what the norm was, which was the last 16 months was my norm, was really just getting in contest condition. So I should be able to get there within a few weeks. My body will switch.
To everybody who always thought I was gonna be something, well, I've grown into an incredible someone.
What I love about the human body though is that whether you're born in a rich family or not, whether you're poor or rich, it's something you can do. It's not based on your heritage, your background, your financial status. It's based on your work ethic and how committed you are. That's something I've always loved about it. Someone who can be wealthy and born in a rich family doesn't mean they're going to have it easier with bodybuilding. Yeah, it's something that I think it's a level playing field for most people.
And anybody from the hood who ever made it out, know you gotta work hard and never settle. To tell the truth, I never wanted a Nikki. I just wanted a good girl who was gonna be with me to the end. If she had to choose, she'll always pick me. And when I find out how do I convince her she's not a quickie.
Competing so often, it's been harder for me with weights. When you're dieting, it's so much harder to just build your strength up. Cardio, morning and night, restricting calories. Whereas if I had a good 6 months to just focus on, positive calorie balance in my day and not as much cardio, my strength would get up a lot heavier and I'd be able to build a lot more muscle. I just smiled and gave him back like this man, I'm out. That's how I build my shoulders. Always try and train before I see you.
Oh, yes.
That way it doesn't hurt as much.
Here it comes, you know it's coming, don't you?
Yeah,
Oh, grouse bit here.
It's not very nice.
Yeah, this is a charmer, this is.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
That's got to be what's pulling to the knee.
yeah, I have a feeling.
You know the problem is I don't feel as connected with my body because something feels out of sync.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
The body's very good at switching stuff off just to protect itself, you know?
Saw Sean, my masseur, and I've never had those little niggles that have been restricting me. And it just shows that I did need to have a rest. But you don't accomplish anything from, having time away from the stage, if you can do it, I mean. And I was still capable, and that was the reason for me. It was like, well, if one of the only reasons I'm not doing it is because of quote unquote being lazy or being exhausted, that's not a good enough reason.
The body is a master compensator. I reckon that's the difference between average Joe and elite athletes, is that their bodies are so much more capable of compensating when they're injured.
It's cool.
Hmm.
What happened to me then?
I don't know. Might be a Polish gene thing. So the Arnold and Columbus, how far away is that?
4.5 weeks.
Oh, is that all?
I know. Got photos, I was like, oh shit. Take out a few carb meals, take out a few fat meals.
Oh, really?
Protein and greens.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You actually have to drop the fats there as well, eh?
Yeah, drop everything.
Yeah, really?
Just suffer.
I really wanted to sit most of the year out and prep for something closer to the Olympia, and then win my ticket to the Olympia. You have to win a pro show, and then do the Olympia and having a good rest. And then the lineup come out for the Arnold Ohio, and it wasn't really strong in terms of there was no top 6 guys. So 7th, 8th, 9th really for me doing it, which is Cedric, Dallas, and myself. There's a couple other really good competitors doing it, but I thought the Olympia could have gone either way with us, Cedric, Dallas, and myself. It was quite close. And then there were some things that I could improve on, and I just hoped that I could be able to do that in this prep in time to compete. But this hasn't been a good prep. It's probably been the prep from hell so far.
And this taxi driver kept trying to undercut me.
Yeah.
And I was driving, so it was in Toorak Road, and it was bumper to bumper. Nice. And this guy would try and go where the parked cars were, and floor it, and try and get in front of me. And I was like, hang on, I'm late as well, like I'm in a rush, and this guy's trying to.
Well, what difference does it make?
Exactly, and then he would keep bipping because I wouldn't let him in, and then he'd lock me in, so he'd be forced to oncoming traffic. I couldn't go around him, and he's like on the horn, so I'm bipping back, and then he sticks his finger up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fine, put the car in park, and then I go down the car, I walk around, and he just stops, he goes, look at you, what are you?
That's excellent.
It's
like when people look at you, they go, bodybuilder. The end.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in a negative way, but...
Yesterday it was going from doing my cardio, and this couple just pulled over, this older couple, and they're like, we're trying to find this place, and they didn't have a phone, and they're just arguing, and I just put it up on my maps, and it was a bit complicated, and I said, well, if you don't, I'll just jump in, and I'll just walk back. And they're like, yeah, that's okay. And when I got in, the lady's like, I don't want you to hurt us with you so big and muscly. I'm like, no, that's not.
She's saying,
yeah.
All right, it's a good thing you said that.
Yeah.
I won't hurt
do
you.
it.
Because what I normally do is I just hurt old people.
Yeah,
It's my thing. So how do you feel about today?
Public speaking's not my strong suit, but it's something I want to do in the future.
But here's the thing though, you're not a fucking public speaker. You're a bodybuilder who's really good. I'm a professional speaker, that's my job. Right? That's like going, I'm not sure about bodybuilding. I don't know. Well, you're 53, you dickhead. You just go in and train with weights. You don't have to be,
Yeah.
Like I think the thing with you is you underestimate yourself, like all the time with, and people aren't coming today to think, oh, this guy's going to be the best professional speaker on the planet, super articulate. They're going, no, he's fucking huge and he's got an awesome body and he knows heaps of shit. And I want to be more like him, or I want to learn from him. So 28 days is Columbus, Ohio.
Yep, 35 is New Zealand, and then 42 is Australia from today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's 3 pro shows in 14 days.
Yeah, and I said I wouldn't do back-to-back shows again after the Olympia tour, which was 4 shows in 21 days.
Well, we've spoken about this, and he hates me a little bit for this because, the thing about bodybuilding is that you can be the best bodybuilder in the world, but if you don't have the appropriate support and financial base and sponsors and stuff, and when you're in Australia, it's hard. I mean, that's the practical reality, is you're removed from kind of the epicenter of bodybuilding, even if you're in the top 7 or 8 in the world, you know, and that's the thing. And so he's a bit mad at me because I kind of pushed him in.
He was the reason I did it. I placed top 10 in my first Olympia, and when I was growing up, people would be talking like top 10 guys who got it made, you know, in a way, like life becomes a little bit easier financially. Which hasn't been the case. And I never ever got into it to do this for financial reasons, but then taking it up as a profession, obviously there has to be a financial reward from it. There's good prize money these days, I'm not complaining about that, but just the magazines aren't there anymore, the contracts and endorsements. And so anyone out there that's really wanting to make it and look at me and think he's got this quote unquote level of success, you know, I have in terms of bodybuilding accomplishments so far, that's been a great level of success. But then moving forwards into being able to make a life out of it, it's really challenging these days. You've got to do all your social media, everything's got to be up, and I'm not really that skilled at that yet, but I'm getting better. I'm meant to have one hand on the wheel at all times.
You meant to have 2?
2? Oh yeah. I was speaking to Chris Cormier and talked about how when they were competing, they just had the sponsorships. They could just focus on their training, go to the events. They didn't have social media. They didn't have to spend a day, like hours on that every day that we do. So things have definitely changed. So sometimes I'll have 20 to 50 messages back and forth, like messages from different people, and then those messages can take up 4 or 5 a day as well. So, you know, out of that 50, there might be 200 in total messages I'm going back and forth a day. And that's just on text message and phone calls. So my Facebook and Instagram as well, I just don't get back to people. And it sucks, you know, I want to get back to people who are supporting me and encouraging me. It's just really hard. People are like, why don't you have Snapchat? And so I just don't want another avenue of, you know, people to feel like I'm ignoring them, because I'm not.
Just to hear stories growing up that the main guys in the world, when it gets closer to shows, what are people moving their weights on and off for them? A load of shit.
It's like anything, if you can commit 100% to your chosen field, that's going to flourish that area of it. And instead nowadays we have to commit it to the bodybuilding field, the social media field, videoing, business, coaching, all these other avenues where my time's spaced out and I can't commit 100% to one thing. And my wife's dad, who was in the Commonwealth Games and almost an Olympian and stuff, and he said the same thing. If he never had to work to provide for his family, he would have been a much better athlete, and that's just how it is.
Come on! Strong boy, let's go! Come on! Deep breath in! Get down, Joe. Up! Easy! Come on! You're right! Go! Up! Come on! Again! Let's go! Up! Again! Easy! Come on! Go! Up! All day, brother! Wait.
Yeah, not coming up. That's why I didn't go. I saw it slip at the start. I went, fuck. It's not like you wake up loving to get on the stair mill and loving to push yourself in the gym every day. And that's, I think, what people don't understand. They might want a bit of that, as in they want to get a little bit leaner or a little bit bigger, not necessarily accomplish what we've accomplished, but then because the end result for them is happiness, and when they go through the hard times, what they're getting is unhappiness. So they then perceive, well, this isn't the goal, this isn't what I signed up for, and then they quit on their goal. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of people, coaching people and whatnot. If you don't look like a bodybuilder and you're happy, great. If you don't look like a fitness model and you're happy, great. But if you want to be a better version of yourself and you're unhappy, then you need to go after that goal and achieve that, because that's what you're perceiving to be happiness. For me, to live life was to accomplish a big dream of mine, and that's, I think, what's life without goals and dreams? And although they're hard and they're challenging, I think doing them is what gives you purpose and what inspires others and what encourages others. And in this world when things are so uncertain and life's so uncertain, to give someone a bit of hope and encouragement and courage to go after their dream, I think that's a great thing in life to have.
That's like not human. I did applaud you. I don't know.
Thank
if
you.
did.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I've never seen that.
Standing ovation.
Oh my God.
I've got to really push it these next few weeks. Moving forward now, it's just cardio morning and night and training consistently. There's no magic potion, and it's if you know the structure, you know the method. It's like I've heard before, like people who are millionaires, they become bankrupt, they become a millionaire again because they know that there's traits and there's like breadcrumbs on how to get back to that trail. They know the process, they've been there before, they do it again. And it's the same with bodybuilding, you know the process, and it's something that can be taught to others. So, just getting it done now. I booked the 3 comps to do coming up in 3 weeks, and I sent a letter 2 nights ago saying that I'm pulling out of them. Unfortunately, something happened that was out of my control, and I've made the decision to pull out of these upcoming contests, the Arnold US, New Zealand Pro Show and Arnold Australia. I'm not unhappy with my choice. Like, family should always come first anyway.
Seriously though, could you, if God told you and there was $1 million in it, could you get in shape in the next 4 weeks?
This is what he does.
It's a question.
No,
No, answer the impossible question. If you had to have your life depended on it.
don't know.
You
I don't have a crystal ball.
That's a yes. I do this show for Australian bodybuilding. I put my whole year into it, and one of the best and most highlights of this year was knowing that Josh was going to do it. And I'm seriously devastated that he can't. I understand why. That's not a guilt trip, and I respect that. But if there's some way that we could all just snap him into it, barrage him with messages, get a viral campaign going. Honestly, as a bodybuilding fan, I'm sad because I think he's one of 2 or 3 guys that are the future of the sport right now.